There are lots of big infrastructure projects that are being commissioned. The centre can claim that this is because of the abrogation of Article 370, that Kashmir has got this big infra leg up, which it wouldn't have got otherwise.
Sure. As long as you can point out to me which of these infrastructure projects started after 5th August 2019. The fact is that all these large infra projects predate 5th August 2019 and the removal of Article 370.
But they were also running late, like for example, the train has been running decades late.
It's still running late.
अब तो बन गई है.
कभी ना कभी तो बनना ही था. कभी ना कभी तो बनना था. It would have still finished at this time, regardless of 370. 370 was not a reason the train didn't, the work didn't complete. It's an
tunnels, border road.
How has 370 impacted that?
No, that the centre is more pushing harder on infra.
So why didn't the centre push harder earlier? So the problem wasn't 370. The problem was the centre didn't push.
But the centre can also say that the security situation is now better. The stone pelting is over. You don't really see the kind of protest calendar that we used to see earlier.
Well, actually, if you see, most of these infrastructure projects are not located in any areas that traditionally saw the sort of protests that you're talking about. The railway line, none of this, the part Katra, Banihal, is in an area that's prone to protests. The tunnel that is going to be inaugurated, one of the most peaceful parts of JNK. In fact, if anything, it's unfortunate that this tunnel project was actually the subject of a militant attack, terror attack a few months ago. So, look, let's not link these infrastructure projects to the politics of 370.
But what's your reading on the improved security situation, which the government claims is one of its big achievements? Stone pelting, terrorism, terrorists.
Look, I've always said I'm willing to grant that you don't see as much, and we've had this conversation in earlier interviews as well. We don't see sort of the widespread or the troublesome stone pelting and protests that we've seen in the past in 16, 10, 2008, etc. But the fact is that the government has also come down on people with a very, very heavy hand. The way in which the CID department has in the past been weaponized, the way in which employees have been terminated without any due process, the way in which blacklists have been operated, which go against the laws of natural justice. Now, I may be a terrorist, but that doesn't make my children terrorists. But we seem to treat everybody with an equal yardstick. If what we see on the ground in Jammu and Kashmir is as a result of a change of heart, I'm all for it. But if it's just out of fear, then you have to ask yourself what has changed.
Well, which one do you think it is? Do you think it's largely fear, or do you think...
No, I think it's a combination of both.
Because people are also happy with more...
I'm going to say, if it was just fear, you wouldn't see the sort of turnout you do in elections. So it's not just fear, but there is a fear factor that has contributed to it as well.
But Kashmir tourism is booming more than ever before. I mean, rates you can compare. You can go to Bali, Vietnam, or...
Yeah, well, that's one of our problems, how expensive flights are. The fact that hotels are earning well is a good thing. Some people recently have sort of objected to tourism, but I think...
Why do you think that's happening? I read about the protests against some of the new tourism projects as well. Why object tourism?
I don't know. I haven't seen... Look, projects that take a lot of land from people are projects that are going to run into difficulty. We've seen that not just in Jammu and Kashmir. The fact is that a lot of segments of the Delhi, Amritsar, Katra expressway, they got held up because of protests over land acquisition. And we see this even the famed bullet train project between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, again held up on account of land acquisition. So land is an emotive issue, and projects, whether for tourism or infrastructure, where people feel that their land is going to be taken away, you can understand why they would have difficulty with that.